every time we go through something so big, we've always appreciated each other even more. The fear brings out so much strength in us. And I think it's beautiful. I think that the fear doesn't have that much of a sting when you know that it's actually to push you somewhere better. It's a practice that we've practiced it so many times. We've seen fear so many times. We've seen it enough for me to say, I trust and I know that we are always taken care of.
Welcome to the Jasmine Star Show, where today I have hands down my most favorite all-time guest. This guest is probably going to get 10x the amount of downloads, 10x the amount of views. This person is about to blow. This person is about to blow your mind with the insights that he's going to share. But before I do that, before I bring him on camera, because he is wildly nervous and he's been doing like Lamaze style breathing before he's coming on camera, I have to say that we were both a little nervous, so we decided to play a little bit of a game to get us warmed up. We're going to cut over to that right about now.
Who said I love you first?
That's a hard one.
It's not hard.
Was it me?
It was you.
Who calls or texts the most?
Oh, come on.
I get texts from you every single day.
Who's the messier one?
Okay.
Oh.
Wait, can I put the whole can in?
Who's the biggest flirt?
Oh, gosh. Easy.
I don't call it flirting. I call it social.
Who's most likely to get bailed out of jail? Who's more annoying when they're hungry?
Easy. I'll put my whole can in here.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to ask for advice and then not take
It's
it?
right here.
Every day.
Who's more likely to snort while laughing too hard?
Oh, easy.
Jasmine.
Who's more likely to get lost even with a GPS?
I'm out.
Oh.
All right. It's the competition.
Salud, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be more excited to welcome my husband and my business partner, JD Delatorre.
Yes.
It's 10X, baby, 10X.
10X. Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I feel like we're at home, so I'm in my element, but I am very nervous.
Yes, we were nervous. And then today you were getting Luna dressed for the day. And I walked in and I said, I'm so nervous for this podcast. Like, I want to show up. And before I could even finish the sentence, you're like, oh, you're going to show up so nice. And you're going to show up like you're going to make the world want to love you. He's like, you should show up how you really are. I was like, wow, bro. Wow.
No, actually, maybe that was me flirting, because when you said you were nervous, I was just like, she loves me. If I make her nervous, because what I was really thinking was the lineup that you've had on your podcast recently is just mind blowing. I'm like, I look up to these people too. And all of a sudden, when you asked me the other day, I was kind of like, oh, 10X less? 10X? No, less.
Okay, you want to start there? Do you want to start? Like, we could be 100. We could be 100 about why I asked you to be on the podcast. Or how it happened.
Oh, yeah, how it happened is we were flying to New York. So we booked a flight last minute. It was last week. On Thursday, we flew out and we were sitting next to each other. And so Jasmine kind of reaches over to me and says, hey, I need some help. You said, I need help.
I did.
And I said, and you said, don't roll your eyes and don't give me an answer. You have to think about it. And whenever she starts with that, I always roll my eyes, because it's like, it's inevitable. My eyes just automatically roll when she says, don't roll your eyes. So I rolled my eyes and I said, ask. And then she said it again. And I said, okay, I'm not going to roll my eyes again. You have to just tell me. And then she kind of was like, you were hesitant. You didn't want to ask. And so I thought it was something pretty big. And you said, can you be on the podcast? And I said, let me think about it. And then I said, yes. I said, yes, but I'll think about it. So it was kind of like a half yes. Uh-huh. And then you said, thanks so much.
And I said, we have to shake on it. We have to shake it. You're like, no, I'm not going to shake on it.
Yeah, and I didn't shake on it because I was just, I kind of wanted to work out the details, the fine print. I wanted to talk about the agreement.
And then I was sitting in the chair and I was looking at you. I was like, but do you see how stressed I am? And do you see, like, we've had conversations around like how you can help me. I was like, if you do this, you're helping me. Like, you're helping me when you do this. And you're like, but Jazz, like, I just let me think about it. I said, so that's a yes. What I say is a yes. And I was like, shake my hand, shake my hand, shake my hand. I was like, I'm not going to stop. Shake my hand. And so then you just shake my finger.
I gave you a finger shake. Yes, I grabbed it. Our fingers connected and that was our finger shake. Yeah, no, that's so it's crazy because I did need a discussion because I had no idea we were going to do this setup with Max and Aisha and have the whole
Yeah,
full
the
crew.
whole team-
I
whole
thought we were
crew.
going to be in the office by ourselves, the way that we kind of have done it. We've done it once before like that. And so that's how I envisioned it. So I'm glad I didn't see the fine
And
print.
I didn't. I said, okay, do you agree to be on the podcast? And you give
Oh
me a
yeah,
finger
and I
shake.
thought yes, right. So that was last Thursday. On the flight back home, you said, "Hey," I was already planning the week. I said, "Hey, what's the week look like? I have things with Luna that I want to like kind of accomplish." And you said, "Oh yeah, just be ready on Wednesday's the podcast."
I gave you 6 days notice.
I thought it was like a 2-month, runway, or but yeah. So now here we are. It's Wednesday,
I actually think that this
less
is
than
like
a week from that conversation.
This is a perfect description of our relationship. It's, I have an idea. Don't roll your eyes. He will inevitably roll his eyes. I will somehow cajole him into doing it. And then you will always, beyond a shadow of a doubt, here we are, like we'll be married 20 years in September. And there has not been a single idea that you have been, no. You say, let's go.
That's true. And you always, every single time, just do it bigger than what's stated up front. It's always, case in point, this is bigger than what was stated up front.
Listen, that should say a lot about, like, I want to treat you the way that we treat all of our guests. Top notch,
Hey.
produced, make you in a good light. We want to hear your frameworks for life.
Hey. The thing though is I don't ever have to say, or I've never been on a podcast. I don't not rehearse or practice or even speak often. So I really don't have anything that's kind
So
of,
I'm gonna
I've said
get-
100 times. Like I wish there
No,
was,
I know.
something that I've just, I've said this 100 times. I can just
Oh,
easily
I know what
say
you
it.
say 100 times.
Oh, don't even go there.
Like
Come on.
what? Like what? Say, what do you think I'm going to say?
Why did you leave that on the floor? Come on. I've said that 100 times, but come on. That's not fair. People aren't not going to get anything out of that. That is not a 10X idea. So let's see if I have any 10X ideas
so
for
this
you.
is the thing. So maybe we should start there. My husband and I, we've been together basically our whole lives. And so when he says I haven't said something 100 times, I literally on a weekly, I've said 100 times. Why is that thing on the floor?
Oh, come on. Yes.
Okay,
But
okay.
that's not podcasting talk. So let's
speaking of,
podcast.
Okay, so I want to make it as easy as possible.
Okay.
I just want us to talk, and I want people to hear.
Do I look at you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you look at me.
All right. I look at you the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you want to.
No, I want to look at you.
No, I know, but if you want to make like a serious point, or if you want to be very dramatic or engage with the viewer, you look at that camera right there.
Okay.
That's the look. Oh, he gave them the.
Okay. When I start crying, that's where I look. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm not-
I do cry a lot, but I don't. I
Yes, of the two of us, who cries more?
No cry fest. Okay.
Who cries more?
I think we're equal, but I think we cry a lot in this household.
This guy.
Wait, do I cry more?
My love.
Okay, me. But
My love. Yes.
wait, you cry every day. I cry every day. Do I cry every day? Wow.
I cry every day. Are we really gonna go
Well,
there?
I mean, at least 4 times a week. Do I cry 4 times? I mean,
Oh my God.
I guess I do.
Can't even.
Okay, so I cry 5 times a
I
week.
can't. Your eyes water, even just talking about Luna. Like you'll recount what did I do, what did you do today? And then
No,
the eyes.
no. To clarify, you say those are gangster tears.
Oh, gangster
If
tears.
they don't
Oh,
come
that's
with
right.
yeah, we're not crying.
yeah.
We're not
Then
crying.
We
We're not
gangster,
crying.
we gangster cry
Yeah.
all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
All right.
Okay, so
Go on. Let's go.
we'll make it. Well, I'll try to make it just easy. I want to give people like maybe like a little bit of a look in our lives and in our business. We are co-founders. We have done everything together. We are 50-50 partners. And then the relationship has changed in the roles that we play. But right now, how would you describe me as a business partner in 3 words?
Easy, hands down is you're a leader when it comes to my business partner. I feel like you lead. You always want to bring our entire team. You want them to be empowered, but you always want to bring them along. So you're one of those never leave anyone behind type people, leaders. So a leader for sure. You're also very fair. I think fairness is huge for you. It's just a core principle inside of you that when you get an idea or something comes your way, you don't think about yourself only. You think first of the person that you're going to be interacting with, and then you try to come with like the best win-win, I guess, scenario. So you're very fair. And you have tenacious. You're tenacious. You just never give up. I have never met anybody who can get beat up so much and still wake up the next day and do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And I love that about you, Jasmine. I feel like I'm proud of you. I don't know anybody else that's like that. So you're the most relentless, tenacious person I know.
Gangster tears.
Hey.
You got him too.
But you know what?
You got him too.
Hey, also, when you ask a question, how much time do I have to think? Is this like fast?
Yeah, it's
I
podcasting.
have to think quick.
You got to be on your feet.
Man, I'm such a slow thinker. You know me. I like to think things through, and I'm very methodical. So like,
Yes,
tomorrow you ask me again, I have probably 3 different words. But actually, those are really. I mean, it's close to what I would say, but I think those.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the next
I wish I could
33 days, my husband will wake up and come up with these were the 3 words.
Yeah,
I wish.
I'm gonna. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, I should have said this.
I love those words. Thank you. They feel very true. Thank you. Okay. So a little bit of a flip side. How would you describe me as a wife in 3 words?
Ooh, very different. Yeah, I feel like in our house, as a wife, as a I don't know, as a unit that we are of 3. I think you're a futurist. I feel like you're always, you take whatever our dreams are, you assess them, and then you always are thinking of, okay, so if we want Luna to get involved with being a tennis player, maybe even a champ one of these days, she should probably take tennis classes. And where I'm just like, I'm going to go outside and play with her in the park, and we're going to throw some balls around. So like
But I bought her all the tennis outfits and the shoes and the balls. That's right. That's what makes this a good.
And I love that. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's that. It's pretty cool to see.
A futurist.
Okay. I'd say you're generous, or I would say kind. But in that kindness comes generosity. You're very kind to our family and everyone around us. So our extended family as well. But you're very kind to us because you always ask, what do you guys want to do? And all you want to do is be around us, which I think is very, very kind. So I think you're very kind, and I love you. So just FYI, I'm thinking, so I'm kind of,
it's okay.
You're loyal, fiercely loyal. Yeah. I feel like you are always about your family. You always want us to be thought of, included. So yeah. You're pretty awesome, aren't you?
I wasn't asking. I was just trying to.
I do think, though, honestly, I think that I know. I'm your biggest cheerleader, me and your mom. And I just feel like, I love you, man. I love those qualities about you. I feel like that's what keeps me always in love with you and excited to get in your head.
And speaking of getting in your head, don't get in your head. I see you getting in your head.
Okay.
Don't get in your head.
It's
great.
All right. Okay.
This is the only people who are going to listen to this are people who just want a different insight. Like we don't have to. This is not teaching. Today is a different podcast,
that's true.
and so we just do it. We get to document it so that like years.
It's
from now,
for all the people that I love. Actually, the people that love you. I think this podcast goes out to. The people that love Jasmine.
Oh my God. It's DJ Thunder Nights. This podcast is going out to the people who love her. No, but
seriously, hey, I love them. If they love you, I love them. So
okay.
This is
for us. It's documented. We're documenting.
I like hearing that.
You're good. Okay, so
no more knowledge.
No more. Well, no. Okay, so how would you describe how we first met? Because I think every origin story starts with, maybe I understand, or I explain a little bit more, or I know why that person is the way that this thing is. And so a lot of the times when we meet people in a professional capacity and then we tell them that we met in high school and then they see our dynamic, it colors it differently. So how do you describe how we met?
We were kids. We were 17 years old. I feel like our first meeting, there weren't that many fireworks. I feel like the fireworks came on our first date. I think our first date was fireworks, but first meeting was completely random, caught me off guard. We were at a fundraiser. And we were at a high school fundraiser. You were in charge of a booth. I think were you making food?
No, the cheerleaders did a routine.
Oh, you were dancing.
It was a fundraiser to raise money for like needy families during Thanksgiving, and so the cheerleaders were collecting food, and then we did song and dance and
same. I was in charge of entertainment as well. So I remember being there, and my entire family was there, and Jasmine and I shared a mutual guidance counselor, and so he came over to my family, and you were right next to him, and so he decided to introduce us. And it was just a quick hello. I wasn't expecting hey, you guys want to get to know each other. It was kind of a very nice to meet you. That's awesome that you're here. And then as I was leaving, and my little sister needed a ride home. So I was taking her home, and I was walking away, going to my car, and I remember you just called my name, and you're like, hey. I turned around, and
I did. I went up to him.
Yeah.
I went up to him.
So that was our first meeting. That was our first meetup. I thought it was it was just a get to know you. So I think the fireworks happened.
Okay, we're going to talk about the first date for a second because I think that colors into it. So we went to different high schools. The counselor introduced us. We were at different schools. I was senior class president and you were ASB vice president. So we were in like council leadership and things like that. And we met, and I did go up to him after because I thought to myself, I remember it like it was yesterday. I talked to him and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, he's so nice and he's so smart. And I hand to heavens till this day, my first thought was, he's so charming. It wasn't flirty. It was just like, he was so charming. And I was like, I think I'm charmed. So anyways, we go our own ways, and I go up to my friends and I said, I think I just met this guy, and he's so nice and he's cute. And my friends, and so at this point in time, I hadn't had a boyfriend in high school. I would go to like our school dances with my girlfriends. I was just definitely like dork. I mean, I was fun. I was just dorky. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And so then my friends were like, go and say hi to him. Go and say hi to him. So I did something that I've never done, but hey, it played off. Like I've approached one guy in my life and snagged that brother. So anyways, I go up to you and I was just like, hey, like, it's nice to meet you.
I still remember your bangs. You had bangs over.
God, he brings up the bangs. Okay?
Well, that was like your look. It was like a look. You had a whole thing going on. You had your uniform. And we just said we'd see each other on the field one day when we were going to go play against your school. I was playing football at the time. And then, unbeknownst to us, our counselor got involved again and asked if we wanted to communicate via letter. We would write letters to each other, and he would kind of just drive and be our correspondent. He would,
our courier.
Our courier, yeah.
Yeah, we would write letters to each other. Like in first period, I would write him a letter, and then I would give it to the counselor, and the counselor would go to his school and give him, and then he'd wait and get a letter, and then the next day, the letter would be returned. So we started
that was fun.
writing letters.
Yeah, we started writing, and then finally I kind of got tired of, I like writing, but I just thought, we should talk. I feel like talking would probably get a lot more than a page or two of our thoughts for the day.
Chemistry.
Yeah, like,
what are you doing?
Exactly. It was one of those. It was pretty silly, but I'll never forget our first call. I called your house, and I was so nervous because I wanted you to call me for some reason, but I forgot to put my phone number.
Of course you do for some reason. Okay.
I said, call me when you get a chance, and I guess I ran out of space. I remember that paper was full, so there was no room for my number anymore. And maybe I just forgot.
It was God. It was God. Like making you call me like a gentleman. Because I said, I didn't have your number. Call me. Here's my phone number. And so then you called me.
I just worried because I don't know. I just picked up this, I'm going to speak to your parents or something. I felt like your parents were going to answer the phone. It was back in the day when the landlines were a thing. So I called, but you answered. And I just remember we spoke for hours.
I think it was like 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. Something like
4
that.
hours.
I think your mom actually picked up the phone twice and said, get off the phone. And I respectfully got off the phone after like hour
After
4.
4 hours, yeah.
But it happened again the following day and the following day and the following day. And so that's just how our relationship, I feel like that's how it started. It started as a true friendship. And then, so when we did see each other for the first time, our date, do you want to talk about that? Or are we, I think we're good with the story.
I think we're good. I think we're good with the story. I think we're good with the story. But there's just one detail. We have to share the one detail about the date.
Yeah, it was amazing.
How do you know what I'm thinking with the one detail? Well, just tell me, what is it? What do you think the detail is?
We got serenaded?
Yeah!
Yes, right? Yeah. I feel like, so that first date is crazy. I had never been to a Starbucks, and we went to Starbucks. Or actually, was it Starbucks?
It was Starbucks,
right?
But he had never been to a physical bookstore. He had never been to a Starbucks. And so we go out on our date, and those two things were there. I was just like, I love bookstores. I mean, you guys,
And you acted like you like Starbucks. So
I acted like I like Starbucks because I was like, oh, let's do something.
I got a cup. I remember my hand was hot, and you're like, hey, that's what these are. These little, you call me what a Java jacket was. Is that what they're called? Like a little, I don't know.
At the time, there was this brand.
It was hold a hot coffee in my hand because I was just trying to hold this coffee, trying to be tough, but I was burning my hand off, and you're like, put one of these coats on. So anyways, we went and we sat down and we had coffee, and I'll never forget these two kids came next to us.
No, there was like 4.
4?
Yeah, it was like a quartet.
I thought it started. Oh yeah, you're right. It started with 2, and then they added on. and they just wanted to sing Boys to Men. And they started singing songs to us, and they were super romantic songs. And I just thought, this is cool. We were just saying.
They were just sitting at the
They
table
wouldn't
next to
stop.
us, and they were just like, it was like the whole Boys to Men.
Should have gotten their
track.
phone number. It would have been
I shoulda
so
got
cool.
Should have got their phone.
The contact information to see what they're up to. I know. It was fun. It was just good. It was just, it was one of those things. I felt like those sparks were in the air. That's when I think the fireworks happened. And you want to talk about?
No.
Because
No.
Jasmine always said,
No.
I would never kiss on a first date. I would never kiss on a first date.
Okay.
But those guys who
Okay, we're
sang,
we're not-
that's why I wish I had their number. I could write them a little letter and say thank you, because that was
Okay.
that was it. That was it.
Okay.
I think that you hey.
Okay,
Little bit,
right
mama.
now we're just gonna we're just gonna
Hey.
keep that in. Our daughter is sitting just off camera. We at the time of this recording, we have decided to homeschool our daughter, and so while we are working and recording together, she is just off camera, and she just asked her dad for a snack. And so he didn't get one high maintenance, demanding woman in his life. He got two. So we're just gonna keep on rolling with it. Where she's gonna be popping in and out as it is. But as far as you spilling the tea that we kissed on our first date,
Yes,
my
yes.
mom is watching. He's totally lying.
I can't believe it. Come on, Jasmine.
When we go back to think about how we first met, the second big decision for us outside of getting married, we dated 9 plus years
Yeah.
before we got married, all with good intentions. But like the next biggest decision after deciding to become boyfriend and girlfriend, dating long distance, getting married, was when we decided to work together.
Right.
So can you talk about when we made that decision and like how did it look? And what was your perspective? What were you going through? What were you thinking about?
I think you and I have always been we've always been entrepreneurs at heart. Like we always talk about business. You were going to business school, or you were actually
I have a business degree.
Yeah, you got.
I went
you
to
were
law
studying
school.
business, and then I didn't study business, but that's all I would ever do and talk about. I remember at that time when we were getting married at 25, I thought I was going to have a barbecue truck at like a high-end food truck. Before food trucks were a thing.
Yeah, he was very avant-garde.
So I was already, thinking about businesses, and I don't know. I just feel like you and we're like, you're my best. You've been my best friend ever since high school, and so there goes Luna.
It's Luna.
Yeah, I just think that I had a best friend before you, and I just remember like we would say like anything like, hey, do you want to start this thing together? And it would always be something that we just did. And so like with you, it was so natural, like, hey, do you want to start a business together? And it was never let me think about it. It was always, of course, what are we going to do?
Okay, but let me go back and let's set the scene. So at the time, you are working with a startup, a telecommunication startup,
Yes.
and you were in sales for the startup.
Yeah.
And it's during that time where I kind of I'm working part-time at my dad's church, and I'm building out things. Hi, baby. Oh, gracias.
Thank you, mama.
Gracias, mi amor.
Luna.
Okay, it's for
Thank you,
Peekaboo.
mama.
Thank you. Okay.
You
Thank
want to be
you.
part of this?
Okay. Peekaboo. Should we get her a snack?
I think she's good.
Okay.
If we don't
Okay.
mind.
No, we're just rolling with it. We're just
Just
rolling.
rolling with
This
it.
is literally doing life and business, and so
Yeah.
we're just. This is what we're gonna do.
It's
And so,
stressing me out a little, but we're good,
no,
right?
It's fine.
We're
You
good.
just gotta let
be.
it
Let
go.
her be.
You
Yeah,
just gotta let it go.
I'm
You
good.
just, because or else we're just
I
gonna be
think she's
stopping every
happy.
5 minutes.
We'll just hear her
That's
making
right.
snacks, and
So
there she
yesterday
goes.
we were setting up the setup, and Max, our lead videographer, I'm sitting here and he's setting the camera up, and then Luna sits in this chair and she says, "Welcome to my podcast." And then she goes,
Yep.
and she talks about this orange bike that she has, and then she says, "Okay, Mom, your turn."
Yep.
And I was just like, "Okay."
I
So
think she's a natural. I feel like she did better than me. So
no. Okay.
no.
So
But yeah,
you
you'll
were with
hear
the
her making
startup.
a sandwich
Yes,
right now.
you're going to hear her
She's probably
making
making a
sandwiches,
peanut butter jelly
and
sandwich or
you
something.
can tell she's a child of the OC.
There it
It's like
is.
she wants pumpkin seeds and she wants almond butter and an
yeah.
apple.
Yeah,
And
she'll
so
figure
she's
it
just
out.
going to be floating around in the
She's
background,
thriving.
and we're just yeah, she's surviving and thriving. And yes, do we allow her to use knives? Absolutely. We
Yeah,
do. We
yeah.
do. I know. We're going to get so much
But she's
hate.
pre- yeah, yeah,
We're going to
yeah,
get so much
that's
hate.
true.
They're a
That's
butter
all
knife.
good.
They're a butter knife. It's fine. But she's actually very good. She's very good.
She's good. She's
So,
good.
JD was with a telecommunications startup. I had just started off with photography, and I had been doing this you were shooting with me, but you were working 5 days a week with the telecommunication startup. And then on the weekends, I was like, hey, can you help me out? And can we shoot together?
That's right.
And it's at this time that the business grows to a certain degree. And then we have a conversation over dinner. And this is when we're living on Guinevere, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, not yet. Well,
Okay.
we were still out on Pickering, I think. That was, yes, that's when we started the business. So,
when we started the business, but when you decided to move. And join me.
yeah, we were at Guinevere. You're
Okay.
right. Yeah. So I feel like I didn't want to leave. I wanted to see the startup through, actually. So I just remember thinking, I want to see this thing through. I actually feel like the startup was one of those companies where it was gonna have an exit strategy.
Yes.
And it was all happening as planned. And so I thought I would love to experience like a full
Sale.
Exit,
yes.
exit and everything. So I thought when that happens, I'll go full time
Yes.
and we'll transition into
Yes.
wedding photography. So for about a year and a half or two, I was just kind of working Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends we were shooting weddings, and I loved it. But I just remember how I was burning out. I was burning out after about a year. I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, you were working like 7 days a week.
It was a lot.
We started taking on a lot. And then I got to a point in the business where I said, I'm going to need more.
Yeah.
I need additional support. So it's either I hire somebody
Yeah.
or.
And the weddings were getting even. Here's the thing: they weren't big weddings yet, but they were asking us to travel. So we were now flying across the U.S., which, we're going to the most random cities in the world in the U.S. But it was part of the fun. I thought it was like it's part of the excitement of our startup.
And so then I had asked if you would join the business.
Yeah.
And so then where is your head at then?
I was excited. I knew that it was going to turn into. I knew that it was going to turn into a bigger business. I knew it was growing.
Why? I genuinely I don't ever think that we talk about that. Like, why did you think that?
Because things were in such alignment, like the momentum, like you weren't just shooting weddings at that point. Now you were being invited to speak, and our minds, you and I would just come home after a speaking engagement and would think of all the businesses that we create on top of the speaking and education, and then we could start doing print and magazine and having like a content strategy, and then having a content team. And we're just like, none of that stuff happened overnight, but we were just like, every night we're just like, whoa, we could build this business into a pretty big business where it can sustain the both of us. And we can actually we might actually build a company. It was like, do you want to build an actual company? And so, it just got real fast.
And so, okay, so that was like our origin story.
Yeah.
And so now that people understand how we met, how we decided to become business partners, and then people are pretty familiar, I think, on the podcast, like how we've iterated, like the things that we've done and how we continue to grow. So I want to know right now, after going through all of that, what do you think is the best and what do you think is the worst part of working with me?
Ooh, I think it's actually like one of those, like this, it's all encompassing. So that's the best part. It's all encompassing. We're always around each other. We get to do life together. But I think the worst thing also is it's all encompassing, which means it's hard to turn off and have like this, okay, what are we right now? Are we always business partners? And where is there room for husband and wife relationship to build? And then if it does build, like how much does it get? Like 2 hours of our, day, or how do we treat it so that it gets a lot more attention? And that was really hard because, I don't know. I feel like we'd been dating for 9 years before we got married, and then we were married for a couple of years. And so I just felt like it was the new thing for us, and it was the new exciting thing. The business was always the new and exciting thing. So it always kind of just overpowered our relationship. And it wasn't until a little bit later where we said, we need to have some balance, because it was just, there was sometimes at different times I would want the relationship side to kind of take precedent and like take over, and then you would too, but it was never at the same exact time. So we were always feeling like we were missing each other. So yeah, I feel like that was.
And JD is a Pisces and I'm an Aries. And so he's very much like thinker and feeler and love and emotion.
Oh yeah.
And I'm definitely like fire, go, drive. And I think that the all-encompassing nature of
Give
the
me your
business.
feelings in 3 points.
Yeah.
That's Jasmine.
I was like, tell me how you're feeling. Keep it limited,
Yeah.
short, concise. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that vein, if in your opinion,
Okay.
there's not a right or wrong. In your opinion, if you could remove one thing about me or from myself, what would it be to unleash my greatest success? Like, what do you think is in my way? What do you think is in my way?
That's a big question. That's
Okay.
a huge. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a big.
Hi, baby, come
hey,
here.
Mama.
Come here. Come here.
Want to hang out with mom?
Oh no,
Let me
she's
see.
wow. We
Ooh,
love your
delicious.
snack. Okay, great, beautiful,
Yummy.
great.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Oh, thank you.
Okay, that's your
Oh,
third breakfast.
That's her third breakfast.
Yes, it is.
That's her third breakfast. Our daughter loves to cook for herself. She takes after her dad. Thank God that two people in this house cook. One of them is,
She's a critic. She critiques now. She
Yes.
actually will probably critique her own food. Which
Yes,
I love
yes.
it. Okay,
yeah,
so big question. What
Okay,
can
so
I
part
take
of the reason
out?
why
Okay,
I'm
so hold on.
asking
This is a deep question.
I
This is
know,
a deep one. This is not like
I know.
what's my favorite color. This
No,
is
I know. Okay, so part of the reason why I was asking was because Peter,
if I take the thing out, or you said one thing that you can take out.
Yeah, like what do you
that
think?
would unlock like the success in you.
Yeah, like what do you think as a business partner when you look? Because I can look at like a couple people on our team and I'm like, oh, if this was just removed, you'd be freaking unstoppable.
Yeah.
Hold on, mi amor.
I would say if I could remove fear, the fear of being responsible for a team, family, the fear of losing what you've built, or what we've built. Sorry, the fear, the self-doubt. I feel like fear encapsulates all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would unlock something. But at the same time, I don't want to take something out that's actually you're working on. Like you are actually working on these fears already. So if I could take out fear and replace it with trust, which you are already working on, I would put trust in that place so that you could have some self-love and self-compassion, things like that. So I wouldn't want to replace it without filling it with something, and I also don't know if I want to replace it because it's making you who you are today. You're working, you're doing the work to try to actually dispel fear, but it's still a big. It's hard to erase.
What do you think? Okay, so right before we turned on the cameras, earlier today we had a recording with a guest by the name of Amy Sangster, and Amy brought in this beautiful Santal 33 or like Le Labo candle.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. But what she doesn't know is that this morning, JD goes through and he preps the house for our guests. And we always light a candle so guests come over. And he lit the candle and he said, Jasmine, as a reminder, this candle's gonna go out. So make sure and replace it before guests come. And I said, yes. I had it in the back of my mind, which is very typical of a relationship. He'll tell me something and I'm like, I got it. And then I totally don't. So then when Amy comes over, I unwrap this beautiful candle and lo and behold, the candle that had once been lit was out. But it was as if the brand new candle came at the most perfect time to replace the candle that had gone down. And so then JD got back. He and Luna were out during the day during the recording. And then JD got back and he just picked up the candle and he said, this is the most perfect timing. He's like, it's like in life. Sometimes a candle has to go completely almost to the bottom before it can be replaced. And when you had said that, all I heard was like this deep, profound trust that you have. Whereas we can be looking at the candle subsiding and you're just like, yes, the perfect candle's finding its way to us. We just got to hope and believe. And I look at the candle, I'm like, oh my God, the limited light that's left. Like,
one candle's next. Which one am I going to grab?
Why haven't I harbored 18,000 candles? Like the perspective that you have for that trust. And so you say, if I could replace like fear or the responsibility of things, and so that you depend on trust, is that something that's just about you? Like that's just you? That just comes? Is this a practice?
No.
I'm asking because people are going to ask me later.
No, the thing is that I look back at all the times that we've been afraid, and those are don't make me cry, but those were the hardest times of our business, and they happen often. They happen in every season. There's a place where we don't want to walk through, and every time we do, we realize something so big about ourselves, and every time we go through something so big, we've always appreciated each other even more. So I'm like, it's kind of this sick like thing where like, whoa, actually the fear brings out so much strength in us. And I think it's beautiful. I think that, yes, I get it. It's painful. So I don't want to minimize, oh, we have each other and that alleviates the pain. No, it's very painful. But knowing that, I mean, I just feel like the fear doesn't have that much of a sting when you know that it's actually to push you somewhere better and do something. Yeah. I don't know. It's not a thing that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about if it's a practice, because it's a practice that we've practiced it so many times. We've seen fear so many times. And I just feel like we've seen it enough to think, for me to say, there's always something better. And I trust and I know that we are always taken care of. So
that's like perspective shift is you always, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, there's something better. And I think that in the back of my mind, it's just the question mark, but it's so good right now. Do we know it's better? And I think that just comes from like a growth mindset and then a protective mindset. I know. And it's always better. It's always better. Every single time it's always been better. Even if it took like a hell of a ride to get there.
Yep.
I would just like to point out the crying ratio.
That was what there was no crying, no tears.
Ratio,
those were just watery eyes. Those were watery eyes. I get watery eyes a ton. So stop. And the Santa Ana winds. You hadn't. Oh yeah, come on.
Wow.
Santa Ana winds are picking up.
Blaming the winds. Okay, so when you look back at my career, what are the mistakes that I've made that you think that I've learned from the most?
Having uncomfortable conversations. I feel like you used to avoid uncomfortable conversations all the time, and it led to loss of not business partners, but business relationships. I feel like when we decided, but you took this first step to just say, I'm going to now, it's kinder for me to say all the things. And sometimes I'd be like, ooh, that's too much. It's too early. Maybe we should wait and have this conversation. I don't like confrontation. So I would always say like, hey, maybe we should hold off on that kind of talk. But you're like, no, if people know exactly my intentions from the get-go and they agree, then it's not going to lead to those mistakes that I think we fell into in the past. Yeah. And that was a lot of hurt. There was a lot of hurt with,
because I wouldn't have conversations, I think that I really ruined or really hurt working relationships with team members because I didn't know how to tell them like they weren't doing the thing that they were supposed to do or in the way that I wanted it. And so I avoided it and they knew that I was avoiding it. And it created friction between like people that we were doing business with. It created friction with our employees because I was trying to be nice and be worried about their feelings. And then I would harbor resentment to be like, why is this not happening? Hard conversations around asking for payment from people. Like you were the person a lot to tell me to like defend the price that we ask for when I speak. And that was like what I thought was a difficult conversation. And so, it took me a while to get here.
I just feel like now you've ran with it. I don't think that you ever avoid them anymore, which I think is great. Because the other day you were drafting up an agreement with somebody. And I just remember the slightest detail was in there. And you went back and forth, and it was like 8 uncomfortable conversations, all the way down to the minutia. And every single time you said, everything matters. Yeah, everything matters. And so these conversations. I guess my question to you, real quick, is how is it not uncomfortable anymore? Is it not uncomfortable anymore, or is it still a very uncomfortable conversations? But you just feel like it's important?
I would tell you, like it was like a light switch. It was a light switch. It's when we were here. It was at the house. So this probably was like 2021. It was 2021, and it was just a switch. I had this vision of like a cardboard box, and on it said conversation. It was like a black sticker that said conversation. Okay, conversation. And then I had this vision of I get to put a label. It's a green label as good conversation or bad conversation. And so what I found myself doing is like, oh, I'm saying that this is a good conversation and this is a hard conversation, this is a bad conversation. And actually, that's not the truth. It was only a conversation. That I could be saying the same thing and somebody could say, wow, that's such a good conversation. And I'm saying that's such a bad conversation. I started realizing there's no such thing as like a bad conversation or a hard conversation. It's just, I want to have a conversation and I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel and I'm going to be open to hear how you feel. And so instead of saying, oh, this is hard, it's not a hard conversation. We're just having a conversation. Whatever label you would like to apply to it, you can, but that's a decision.
Amen.
That was like 21.
Wow.
I know.
I love it.
That was like a big change.
Okay,
So
cool. So that was it. Yeah.
Of all, no, I know you want to end. I just have. I have one more. I have one more. I have actually two more.
Hey, yeah,
I have two more.
finish your question.
Oh, okay. No.
I feel like I'm turning red, and I feel like I'm.
You're,
do we need
are
a
you
little?
spitzing?
Do we need a little cheers moment?
Okay.
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 Here we
Yes, there it is. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
He's buying some time. But I'll play along.
Here we go.
Okay. So
Here we go. Mic check.
how do you define success, and is it different than mine? Than my definition of success?
Oh yeah, it's different.
So how do you define it?
You know me. I'm a Pisces. I love peace and flow, and I think that I define success by alignment. And when I say alignment, I don't mean, hey, tell me what aligns with you, and I'll tell you what aligns with me, and then these are our alignments. No. Alignment is actually I think it's tricky. I think it's when your purpose and your desires are expressed to me, and I figure out a way for your purpose and your desires to align with the things. How can I bring that into alignment? For example, like if I recently, there was a season in my life I'm changing where I'm like, I kind of need I need relationships because things are changing in our home life and everything and business life, and I kind of wanted to meet some people. And so the alignment for you, I feel like you're always social. You build a lot of relationships, and so for you to hear more relationships is kind of like it's not in alignment with you. Like that seems like I need some us time. I need some a different. It's almost night and day. So how do I align? I need to find alignment in that with you, and so I express it to you, and we figured out kind of a way of what that actually looks like. How I can build relationships and still stay in alignment with keeping your private, like you love our space and our time, and how do I honor that space and time with you and still bring that alignment piece of building relationships.
Like, so he's being so nice.
I know. I don't want to call you out on how we structured that.
No. There's no details, honey. No details. We will not be getting into the details of how the deal was structured.
No, it's an agreement. It's not a deal.
It's not a deal. It's an agreement. It's an agreement. So my husband, he's not necessarily a high extrovert, but he's definitely an extrovert. And
no, I'm an introvert with just like an ounce of extrovert in me.
So either way, he tips on over to the extrovert side, and I am very, very, very high introvert. So when somebody comes to me after, like, we are on all the time, not all the time, we're on a lot for the business. And so when he wants to expand into different types of relationships, I had this immediate trepidation. And so when you go back to what success is alignment. Success is allowing me and my purpose and the things that light me up to align with your desires and your purpose and what lights you up.
It's for you, like your desire and your one of your purpose last year and this year, you said, I want to build a business with my family, with you guys. I want you guys to be a part of my build when I'm traveling a lot. And I know this is crazy to ask, but is there a way where we could all do it together, where we could all travel together?
Tres amigos.
Yeah. And that's, for me, that's a big, it's almost like it's a big ask. It's out of alignment of, well, I have these things with Luna that we have this structure, we have her. And then I thought, okay, what would it look like to align your desires and your purpose with how we do life? And I thought, okay, can Luna still have all the structure and all the things that she and thrive in this atmosphere, in this environment? And the answer is yes. So we find alignment. I feel like those are the that Luna schooling, that's a huge alignment piece. We thought she was going to be in school by now.
We did,
and we decided to homeschool her. So that is another piece of alignment. Just means having a conversation about what your desires and your purpose, and then coming together.
So y'all have been watching this podcast. I mean, listen, if you made it to this point in this particular show, there's a very good chance you've seen other one of our shows, because the average watcher is not going to be particularly interested in what it is we're talking about. However,
quick answer. You wanted a quick answer?
No, I didn't. But you all will know that, like, I don't have to get into my definition of success for us to know that our definitions are, at the core of them, the same.
What is yours?
Well, no,
I know yours.
No,
I feel like I know yours.
Bro,
I feel like I know yours, but in one word.
Well, in one word, how would you describe my version of success?
Actually, can you do that?
I can't.
No?
I can't in one word.
Okay.
What I will say was at the core of what we want as success is what JD will say was be alignment and flow. But what it boiled down to is like doing it together. And I think at the core of my version of success, even though it might be a different outward manifestation, it is still and always, can we do it together? And I think that at the core of us, like our success, if we're doing it together and you fulfilled and purposeful in one way and I feel successful and purposeful and fulfilled in another. So the last question.
Okay.
This is like a time capsule question.
Hey, thank you. I want to say thank you to whoever's still listening, because I'm like, man, if you're going to stay to the last question, yes. Can I reach out to me? I want to send you something.
Yeah, okay. So you can definitely send JD an
I'll
Instagram.
send you something. Yes.
That is so my husband right there. That's so my husband. My husband is such a giver that like, even if you just casually passed him in the street, like we were in New York last week and we had passed by, I might maybe bring you up to the story. You're going to hate me for bringing up the story.
Yeah.
No, because you always get embarrassed when I say nice things about you.
Okay, well, hey, relax.
No, it was really nice. It was really nice. So we passed by this gentleman, and listen, passing by people in need in New York, unfortunately, is a lot more common than we would ever like to admit. And so it's like late one night, and we're walking down the street, and this gentleman asks us for money, and I didn't have anything. We just had our phones as we're walking, and then JD's like patting his pockets, and he's like, I just feel so bad. And I said, well, we didn't have any money. And so then JD continues to pack his pockets, and he finds in a very small pocket like $20. By this point in time, we're about a block and a half away, and so JD says, stay right here. And he runs a block and a half to give this guy like $20. Hold on. The reason why I'm saying this is because you give everything. You give whatever you have to other people. And so now that people, I know you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed. Okay.
I always like those things to be secret. But I just remember when I did that and I left you in New York at night, I remember running back to you thinking, what did I just do? I left you there. I was
we were kind of in like a spicy area.
I was like,
we were kind of in like an area. It's like, it's like you left me to go do something nice.
Yeah, that was awful.
So if I got clocked, you'd be like, man, I did nothing nice. Okay. This is the last question. If you could describe where we are and who will be 10 years from now, what do you imagine?
We're just gonna be 10 years older. That's it, girl. Just 10 years older. I'm hoping. Luna will be 15. Mm-hmm. I see us. Bless you, Luna. There she goes. I see us being supportive of her dream, whatever she's at. I have a feeling that's the age where parents become taxi drivers, and I think that. Yeah, I know. This is such a basic answer for. It's just going to be. I think we're good. I look forward to being in support of whatever her dreams are. Probably driving her around. I see us, business has been so beautiful that I just see us still dreaming. I think that we're having conversations with really cool people, having breakthrough ideas. And I don't know. I hope we're in a place of service. In 15 years, I want to be helping people build their dreams still, or build their businesses. I want to travel with you. Travel for work as we work, or even just travel for pleasure. That's great too. I want our families to do what we're doing now. Travel together, work together. Just want to be around each other. If I get that in 10 years from now, that's the best. That's the dream. That's the dream. So
you're the dream.
What do you want in 10 years? Put something in that box.
Just
put one thing in the box.
I know what you're doing.
Put one thing in the box.
I know what you're doing right now.
But put one thing in the time capsule.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop here because I know what he's doing. Right now, he feels very uncomfortable because he feels like he didn't land the plane that he wanted to, and so you're just like, what do you want in 10 years so that I can land the plane? And I'm not landing the plane. You did a fantastic job, and we just did it. All we did it was for documentation. That's it. That's it. We did it so that we could.
No, I want to listen.
Our story.
That means in 10 years we're going to listen to this.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And so then when we are traveling, and God willing, when we are healthy, and when we get to chauffeur our daughter, and when we get to build this out, and maybe by then she's playing on a professional tennis team. Maybe we're doing the world circuit.
Or she's in a book club that she wants to go travel to, and we're going to say, let's go to the book club.
Ain't that rich, folks? You get the opposite. Here I am. I'm like, she's like the future Venus and Serena. We got to get her. We got to get her Nike contract. Like, let's go. Let's go.
Hey, I'm down with that. I would love it, but it's honestly, Jasmine, I think that you come on, you would support her if she wanted to go.
Yes. But listen, if she wants to go to anime conferences, we're going to start an anime conference on our own. If she wants to be a book club, we're going to build her a library. Let's go. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and listening. I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, babe. Thank you for doing this.
What's the time? What's the time?
We sat on
Max,
the
did we
airplane
make the time?
and I got a finger shake agreement to do this. I asked for help and you pulled through majorly. And more than anything, I think of all my podcasts that I will do in 2025, this one is going to matter the most to me in 10 years because we'll get to look back and see how close we were.
You brought it in. You put it in the capsule.
This guy. Thank you for watching and listening to the Jasmine Star
Thank you
Show.
guys.